Ready to rumble? We are now recording.
Excellent.
It is, all right, it is Wednesday, February 26th, 2025. Welcome to the Boulder Arts Commission meeting. I will call roll. Cheryl Cardoso is not here yet. Maria Cole is also not here yet. Jeffrey Cash.
There's Maria.
Could you say your here, Maria, please?
Hello, I'm here.
Jeffrey's here. Jill is here online. Yes.
Here.
Caroline.
Yes. Here.
Marta. Yes. Elaine. Present. I will now hand the meeting over to the chair to call the meeting to order.
Great, and we'll bring the meeting of the Boulder Arts Commission, February 26th, 2025 meeting to order. Our first matter of business is the land dedication. The city of Boulder acknowledges the city is on ancestral homelands and unceded territory of indigenous peoples who have traversed, lived in, and stewarded lands in the Boulder Valley since time immemorial. Those indigenous nations include the Apache, Arapaho, Cheyenne, Comanche, Pawnee, Shoshone, Sioux, and Ute. The city of Boulder recognizes that those now living and working on these ancestral lands have a responsibility to acknowledge and address the past and must work to build a more just future. And with that, I'll open the floor for approval of the agenda. With one note, I see that the prints are not what was in the managers, which is the correct one. This one?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'll just bring up the one thing that I said.
Okay.
So we're good with what is in front of us.
Okay, I make a motion
Yes.
that we approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. The minutes, we have not only the approval of the January meeting minutes, but I saw in the manager's memo that the retreat minutes also, was that a typo?
Yeah,
Okay,
that was a typo. They were approved already.
that's
So
what I
you're all
thought,
set.
and then I
Sorry.
wasn't
Yeah.
sure if there, because there's two parts.
And
Okay.
Thank you.
to clarify as well, I think there was a typo last month that I sent you those meeting minutes to sign again.
Okay.
So, that's
Great.
it.
Perfect. So we've got the January 2025 meeting minutes up for approval. Anyone would like to make a motion?
One second.
All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Do we have anybody signed up for public participation?
We do not.
Great, and not seeing any public in the room. Move forward to commission business. And did we have anything added on the agenda, commissioners? Okay. Moving right along to number 5, liaison updates. Anybody like to share what's going out in the world? Yeah, you have a good one.
I've had something I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention. One of my liaison organizations has a National Endowment for the Arts grant. And the NEA has sent out some new requirements. And I'll just read you a couple bullet points. One is to comply with all executive orders, and then this the website where to find those. Applicant will not operate any programs promoting DEI and that violate applicable discrimination law. I'll just give you the highlights, okay? And then the applicant understands that federal funds shall not be used to promote gender ideology. So I just wanted to bring this to our attention because these are happening, obviously, these changes are happening at the national level. I think it's confusing to kind of the organizations that have federal grants. I'm not really sure how to proceed. I think there are some mixed messages in this and also this ongoing apply with whatever executive orders. Just wanted to see if anyone has any thoughts or heard feedback from your organization.
Thank you for bringing that, because I actually thought of that today. It's like that conflict between federal and what we've done in our grant program.
Right, that doesn't affect that, but it's affecting organizations, both service organizations, arts organizations, and so we're gonna hear more and more folks that are having programmatic problems and funding problems. I've heard it through so many folks that we're connected to and that we support as well.
I was just curious about any of our grantees who also get federal dollars, whether there's folks there.
I think that what it sounds like, you know, the federal dollars, if I don't know the ins and outs of the grant, but federal dollars, I think are going to a certain program. It's going to probably have to partition off the programming, but I think it just makes things more probably complicated to how you're running your organization and when some of the initiatives that we encourage are at the heart of the organizations.
Because we all have liaisons, it'd be interesting for us to reach out. The next round of reach outs to see if we have anyone that's even large enough or has qualified in the past or was looking to qualify for an NEA grant, whether it be something the size of something like Boulder or Colorado Music Festival or something like that, or even Museum of Boulder.
I don't know if we, you know, if we find that there's a need, if we can at least organize or host a forum to you know, encourage those folks to talk to each other. I don't know if we can lead that conversation really, but help connect organizations so they can talk to each other.
Can we put out a statement?
Maybe, don't think so. Just insofar that the the city putting out a statement as opposed to, well, we don't get any federal funding. I'll start with that. Like the grant program is no longer federally funded, like we're not getting ARPA funds anymore. The city itself, like the city manager would need to put out a statement, and the like tone that we've received thus far is like, we're gonna carry on with our work as structured by our framework, the SARE framework, right? Sustainability, equity, resilience framework. SARE, okay, thank you. That's terrible. I just might have the SARE framework.
Jill, can you hear us well enough?
Yeah,
Lauren was cutting out a little bit, but other than that, I was hearing everything. Yeah.
okay, thank you.
I could barely-
It's Cheryl, I'm here now too, and I can hear you, but I'm driving, so I'm gonna mute and be off video.
Okay, please drive safe.
I will. See you soon.
Well, just something that reiterates what we already have. Like,
Oh, you
You know,
know,
the
just about
community-
our,
community cultural plan and who our grants, what our grant program is and who it serves and just kind of like, cause that way you don't have to change any
they don't have
language.
sheet them down.
And just
Yeah.
already, just like kind of reiterate, this is what we do.
And I think that is, and that's something about the work items is the Arts Commission, which is just tough because it's hard to make like a brief statement and, you know, manage it by email, however. You have a statement on cultural equity already, right? And, maybe there's something to be said for the Arts Commission getting together, making a statement yourselves. I would have to see from our office and from like the city's perspective about just for communications of that, but that's fine, like that, right? The other thing that Maria brought up, which is a cultural summit, or just getting these organizations together to talk about their concerns and what they're doing and that sort of thing, that is certainly within our scope of like a cultural summit, and Sarah and I talked about it a little bit already for the summer. I think when we know more about what is going to be asked of the organizations, I mean, we have this kind of guidance, but like, how does that play out over the next couple of months with the federal budget and that kind of thing? So yes, and I think we go for getting these groups together. Whenever you hear from your liaisons, I would be very interested to hear who is getting federal
Yeah, I'm gonna
funding.
reach out to.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add?
I agree with everything. Hello, my name's Matt Schneebski.
Is it good?
I would also say encourage organizations to reach out to the state for the ministries, because first of all, they are highly funded by the federal government and need to navigate that. But also, I think that there's an overlapping issue with the ICE raids on businesses that are already starting to happen in the state, and I think it would be great if the state brought some guidance on all of these things. But the other thing is that we did have, city manager send out to staff a reaffirmment of our equity practices and policies, and so maybe that's something that we can share with you with some language.
Going back to the ice raids, I was just at the state of the governor, with the chamber a couple weeks ago, and his stance is that the law enforcement for Colorado, as well as any of the Colorado municipalities or Colorado state folks are not permitted to do what the ICE folks are doing, but because the ICE folks are federal and supersedes. And they cannot get involved at this point.
Yeah.
That's a great
Jill has raised her hand.
idea. Oh, thank you.
I was just going to share that, yeah, not only the National Endowment for the Arts, but it would be IMLS, which is, oh God, Institute of Museum Services something, but there's a nonprofit grant that would apply to like any educational museum, whether it's arts or sciences, natural history, and then NOI, which the Junkyard received last year. It's a 2-year grant, but I was reflecting this year that we got the funds in March. And so thinking about the organizations that are receiving or supposed to receive those funds now that could be on hold because of this. So yeah, I definitely think that it is weighing heavily on perhaps many organizations in our community. And yeah, and that's, I don't know, kind of all the more reason that it's important for us as the city to be able to support their needs right now when potentially the federal funding is not as secure.
What is the NOI, Jill?
It is the Nonprofit Operating Infrastructure Grant. And that one is federal, but then it gets distributed through regional bodies. And so I know that we got it and Rocky Mountain Equality got it last year. And United Way of Colorado was the entity that distributed it, but it was a federal fund that I imagine would still be controlled by decisions making now.
So, just looking for input, if there's anything missing from our sort of plan of action, we're gonna reach out to our liaisons. Let Lauren know what we're hearing, and then we can assess, the need and desire for a public forum. As well as, and then we can also put our head around a more direct statement for the website.
And my list also is, I will send you what we received from the city manager, because that might have some good. It's inspirational at least, right? And also I'll look into state resources because it. Or when you speak to your liaison organizations, right, to not just ask about NEA funding, because I think it's quite rare, actually, those are really hard grants to get, but. If there's funding that they know that's coming from other sources through.
Such as NOI, which is funneled through state organizations, but I mean, not just our organization, but even so many folks that are doing social service as well. You look at Boulder County East Project and all the women's clinics and things like that. It's yes, we do, would be.
Thanks.
Great topic. Thank you for bringing that up. All right, liaison updates. Report. Maybe, yeah, sure.
Well, I just wanted to see if we could get an update about that, for October.
Yep.
Yes, as soon as you saw it was, the selection was published.
Congratulations.
So that was a lot of effort by a lot of people to review almost 65 submissions. Have a lot of discussion, interviews, and select the final firm, which is Soil from New York City and their team with Boulder here in Boulder. So I think it's gonna be a really strong team. David and Gwen went out and toured two shortlisted firms for the buildings and, really likes the depth of experience of soil, they've done cultural projects, they've done, campuses, have a good handle on that. They said in their office, for instance, they, had mock-ups of lighting systems, and so they know how to do this type of work. And then Coburn, as hopefully you guys know, there's a lot of housing in this community. They'll be the support firm, so we can get things through the regulatory process. So looking forward to starting, design. I think the contract's in negotiation, so looking forward to starting design soon. Yeah, it's a huge milestone.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah. I'm so glad we had your architect brains.
Well, it was a committee, so,
Yeah.
I
But
lent a
contribute to that.
certain perspective to it, yeah.
Awesome. I don't really have anything going on with liaisons right now. I know everybody was working on their reports. The dance organizations are gearing up for April, events, and series. And, I did get to go, my favorite thing, and then I saw you laid there, was at the Catamounts did Ghost Quartet.
Yeah.
And, oh my goodness, obsessed.
Yeah, it was really cool, really like unique storytelling. It was delightful.
And very intimate. They say in their report, they talk about really keeping the model of having small audiences. And it really added a lot to it. It was really beautiful. Didn't quite understand why, but I was sobbing.
I can think about 27 reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those like very non-linear
Yeah.
stories. that-
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know what's going on, but
but I like.
it's really hitting me. Yeah. Anybody else, liaison?
I went to a performance for the Boulder Philharmonic back in January. Their programming for the entire year is really exciting. They've got a lot of collaboration with bluegrass groups. And they are also collaborating with a lot of different young professional groups for smaller, intimate type concerts. Their development director, Jesse, actually recently just joined the board of Boulder Young Professionals, for which I'm presenting sponsor, so I'm glad that he's getting involved because he's new to town as well. Museum of Boulder, we'll hear about an update request from them. But I did sit down with their executive director and development director, and they have basically a 3-4 year plan for their exhibits. And it's really exciting what they have coming up and where it's really going to become a community gathering space and a lot of opportunities to bring folks into that space. I'm meeting with Colorado Music Festival on Monday with their development folks, and they are currently advertising for a director of development to head that up. Dairy Arts Center, their quarterly meeting is tomorrow. But as a side thing, the Society for Arts Entrepreneurship Educators, I get to go to that conference tomorrow in Kansas City, and I'm presenting a paper on an entrepreneurial approach to corporate and community sponsorships, which is about the classic film series that I curate and post over at the dairy. So I get to brag about that. And it's made some very nice press from Biz West recently. Met recently with Josh Halpern from Cultural Caravan on how best to acquire and activate corporate sponsorships. And was able to connect him with some folks to take things to the next level. Also met with Nick Forster over at eTown, just kind of catch up with him on everything. And I also owe him templates and materials of how to set up an endowment fund, which is something I provided for a couple other organizations as well. So this is a reminder that I need to get that to him because I couldn't find those ones.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Anybody else?
I was gonna share kind of relating to our new goals as a commission in regards to how we can best support other organizations or organizations within our community. I had volunteered to dig into grant support or other funding source supports. And so I'm going through my second year of applying for SCFD funds, which is huge and cumbersome. And you have to have been in operation with your programs for 5 years before you can submit. Then you can get eligibility. Then you go through the process of actually applying for it. So probably many of our organizations that we are liaisons for are going through the SCFD process right now. State funded, not federal funded. So again, super important right now, but yeah, kind of like doing a little bit deeper dive into it for myself to be able to support potentially organizations that are at that 4-year mark and are going to go through the heavy lifting of their 5th year and want to make myself available to those as an advisor for going through that process. And then I was going to say from the junkyard side, personal liaison, along the DEI lines, I'm really excited that in the next 7 days, 8 days-ish, or within an 8-day period of the events that are coming up, we've got the Here to Pee comedy tour, which is funded by Rocky Mountain Equality, but a comedy show put on by incredible Ren is just a fantastic comedian, but that's happening. It's sold out, unfortunately, but I'm so excited that we're able to hold space for it. The next about like, I don't know, 6 days later, we have the 2nd anniversary of our salsa event put on by Marcela Ley, but a staple now, I feel like, of the Latinx community here in Boulder. And then the night after that, our Fresh Mode Festival, which is a hip hop festival that hits on all the elements of hip hop from MC, breakdancing, mural, graffiti, and celebrates that culture from 3 p.m. to 11. So all ages, families, kids welcome. So yeah, excited about the things that are kind of coming up that I feel like support these niche communities within Boulder that are so important.
Rob.
George, are you also?
I went to another installation of Black Indian art, up at the bus stop galleries. And that was my first time there, so I was glad to know where it is.
I had, just wanted to bring up that tomorrow, the 27th, from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock, there's an art walk on West Pearl, hitting, looks like 4 different galleries put on by the new local. Or maybe 5 different galleries, so I suspect that starts at the new local at 4. So that would be something cool going on.
And since Cheryl isn't here, I will speak for her for Boulder International Film Festival, and the Biff Gals have their 21st International Film Festival, March 13th through 16th. And they just keep doing all these teaser releases every day, and it's going to be a really, really exciting weekend here in Boulder.
Yeah. Great. Let's move on to the committees that we put together. I was looking at, my computer blacked out and I can't find the list in the memo of whatever. Oh, perfect. Cool. Did you have an overview?
Oh, thank you. Yes, I have an overview that I wanted to, yeah, frame this with them, just kind of review what you said. So, thank you, or I can share it too, Sarah, if you feel, sure, okay. To zoom in. Let's share. Taking it back, taking. There we go.
I know.
Okay, here we go. So, so a bit of framing, because, and I feel like we do this every year, but just to kind of a refresher, right? A few things. One is first, the Arts Commission and your role with us as staff, right, is a little strange, but you advise us, you work on the grants, you work on the public art program, you have your liaison positions, and you are ambassadors to the community. Those are your like flagship goals, right? And you do a wonderful job with all of those. And I want you to keep those in mind while we walk through these work items. Also, I wanted to note that I put rebuilding trust in this awful, awful graphic. This is the reason I did not go into graphic design. But it's my passion. That I really liked, I think you liked, and Georgia made this point last time, that really working, us doing our job really well, and the commission being ambassadors in the community, and us stewarding public funds in a transparent way and being clear about that is really going to be what helps us rebuild trust. So that is like encompassing all of these. When we do a good job and people see that, that's our rebuilding trust. That's what that means in translation. And
Question,
yes,
while I know we're talking about this. Is there, what evidence do we have that there was a loss of trust? That needs to be rebuilt?
well, I mean, does anybody, all of the commission speak?
I don't remember. I'd have to look at my notes where that came from. I mean, I think we talked about it in October.
Yeah, it was something from the retreat too, but. Well, as I talk about the rest of them, maybe it'll like plug us into how it fits into getting connected with the community. Like the hiccups between the blueprint with the 2A funds, I think there's just some kind of like overall like concerns about us being plugged in and transparent and like doing our work well, which we are. We're doing really well, says me. But I'll start from the top. And another sort of reminder is that we have our work plan set out from last year, like staff has a work plan, right? So we hope that you can advise us and that you can, like advising on, hey, maybe we should have a summit about these federal grants, get people together about that. That's perfect. It fits into what we've already kind of got scheduled and planned and organized. It's really tough for us to take on additional work items that are not literally approved by city council and like bigger senior staff, right? That's just the background. So I've broke them out, continued work on how to support the city's work with tribal nations, Georgia and Maria. Currently, we have our citywide strategy and consultation that is like ongoing continuously. Boulder County Arts Alliance artist list. They are working on getting their artist list in the background. I asked her for a timeline today, she didn't have it yet, but they had like you know what, it's fine. They're a little delayed because of some internal stuff. So that's all to say, they're working on getting an artist list, which will have different ways to filter. So by all kinds of different things and not just by supporting ways to support Indigenous artists, but this is one of the ways, right? We work with the HHS on Indigenous funding, Indigenous Peoples' Day, their sponsorships, and the blueprint. And obviously that is strategically in all of these because this is a big way that we get community input and then we'll be able to build programs for the next 10, 20 years based on that input, right? And just some previous work you did that we've done together is that presentation by our city's liaisons, which I thought was excellent, and also your statement on cultural equity ties your work directly into how you want to continue to support tribal nations. So I frame this by saying, this is what's happening, this is where we're going with it. If the two of you want, if you want me to organize a meeting for the three of us, we have a call or something, we talk about other ideas that you might have in mind, and then I can filter how they would fit into our work plan or how we fit them into the blueprint, how we give feedback to the consultants to like, this is something that's really of interest to the Arts Commission, or it could be something that you work on independently as a commission or as individuals, right? So maybe I'll wait till the end to see how we want to get everybody together. I can just write you two afterwards too.
Can you say again, what is HHS?
The Housing and Human Services. So we do sponsorships through actually the Human Relations Fund, which is part of HHS. They give funding out and we give a grant or a sponsorship on top of that to support programs happening during Indigenous Peoples' Day, programs that have arts included, which is
Arts and culture.
arts and culture. Yeah, thank you. Connecting other funders with grantees in the arts community. Thank you, Jill, for bringing that up. And for any kind of thought, I know that's a really tough one and we all know about the SCFD deadline, so we'll pray for you. Jill and Georgia, this is another good one that if we want to get together, we can have a Zoom call, talk about other ways that you have about where to get new ideas for funders, how we might be able to share them. Like we say, we have a newsletter, we have our website, we have our Instagram account. We host the annual December funders summits, right? Which I think are actually super fun. And we have the blueprint. So how can we feed your ideas? Like what's an easy way of gathering this information? Once we have the information, we can like easily share it out, right? But like, what else do you have in mind for those? coaching sessions with arts organizations on fundraising, venues and marketing. I mean, it sounds like you two had already talked about this or were going
We've
to.
already gotten together.
Okay,
for
great.
initiative, yeah.
Okay, great. This is independent by arts commissioners, but also presenting at summits, attending summits. Boulder County Art Science has an excellent series that we could pull from, plug into, right? And then our grant writing support is a way that we support our organizations, but if there's other things that you think of, we can talk through if it fits into our work plan, how we can make it work. Or if it's something that we say, hey, it's best if the commission does this independently, if you do it independently. And
Just as you're mentioning, I should probably reach out to Mark Reagan and just say, hey, if you get called up to speak or presented something else, let me know if they need that person, because I thought even I worked really, really well together.
Yes.
I'll just catch his coattails. Follow him.
And then finally connecting youth with arts opportunities such as Boulder, obviously, we have our arts education grant, our field trip fund. We have citywide partnerships too that work a lot with youth in ways that we don't. So like the Pottery Lab has a contract from the city that's very, very solid. Also, we are working very specifically in the blueprint. They're doing a focus group with YoLab to be sure that we're like getting input from young advisors on what we should be doing in the future. So I think that is a really key piece of this work. It's not commission work per se, but I mean, we have our ongoing partnership with Boulder Arts Week and those beautiful banners, if you've seen them outside, they're so charming. We're working on a Uni Hill public art project, and that was a previous one that we did with students, but Cheryl, if you can hear us, Cheryl, and Elaine, if you want me to organize something, I think my overall statement for this is just to know the scope, and there's even more things, right? The scope of what you've done in the past, and you should be very proud of that. The scope of what the city's doing, like the city's doing some excellent work. And what you can do as commissioners. If you want me to organize something, let me know. I'll book us a little Zoom call. We can talk about what you have in mind. We can see what fits with where we can fit it in with our work plan, or where we can say, we need the consultants to talk to YoApp and see what they're interested in doing, right? The last piece is continued work with the city legislative liaison. This one is tough because it's not our department. So you can certainly, as commissioners, you can work individually on advocacy. You could, write letters, work together hypothetically in different ways to campaign or to speak with Carl, who's still there. Maybe in a couple years, we bring him back when it's not the same kind of round of commissioners, but it's a little awkward since it's not our department, right? And he is working specifically on council's legislative agenda. So this is another thing, like his connections and his input are from city council, and city council with state, with federal, so insofar as he can, right? I don't know if there was anything at this point, but he is listening to city councils and working on city council's legislative agenda. So this is another thought of, if you want to get to him to work on stuff, it's actually with city council, right? And we can certainly not like guide any of that work, as you want. How is all of that?
I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'd have to look at my notes from the retreat 2 years ago at this point. Where he came in and talked, and I felt like kind of the takeaway was that he could provide us with just some context about what was going on and receive, if there was anything that we thought might fit into statewide initiatives that would help the cities or programs, that he was available to hear that. Is that kind of what you think the scope of contact with him
If you want,
is?
I could ask him specifically
Yeah.
how he would prefer to, or like what he's interested, or how he would best share information.
Yeah.
Because also I think of the recent, the statewide tax credit for a large film organization that's like in the process at a state level. And that work we find out from CBCA now, like they're really the advocacy group. So I can ask him about his processes and what would be an easy way for us to plug in to know what he's working on, if that would be easy. Yeah, that would be.
Under the umbrella of CDCA, there's also the Colorado Cultural Champions. I'm the
Yes.
Boulder County liaison on that. And anytime I would think of anything that might come up across the state that would. Should be reported back to us, of course, I would.
Yeah,
Would you be able to send us all a copy of the slide?
sure. And then, when I send it, why don't you respond back and I'll organize little copies or Zooms or something if you wanna, if you're interested in talking about like what else we can do, where this all fits. That's not good for everybody. Cool.
Can I suggest, to George's point about the box at the bottom, can we rename that?
Sure.
Maybe? Can we say something, like strategic work to further the mission of the commission? Something like this.
Yeah, I was saying earlier that I think it would be better called building trust than rebuilding
Yeah,
trust.
it sounds
In
like there's
general,
Yeah,
Huge,
but
like,
yeah,
It's just more.
yeah, exactly.
yes, thank you. And actually, this is it's gonna be my plug time, which is for the blueprint. So we have a questionnaire open right now. We have hundreds of responses already, and I encourage you to get more. This is the way that we're gonna hear back. We're gonna build into, like, the blueprint is really the way, is the way. That we're gonna be able to hear back, we're gonna be able to understand what the community's interested and try to like all come together and go in one direction from here out. So I will send it to you again, but I encourage you to share the questionnaire with all of your liaison organizations. I can reconnect you if you want. And I'll give the blueprint update later, but I think that is really a way that we can integrate a lot of this information and starting to hear from people and really saying like, we are hearing you and we're gonna work on that is going to start getting us back to strategic working on just building trust or expanding trust.
And they're back here in March.
Yes, they're back next week.
That's.
Yes, the cats. Ready. Thank you, everybody.
thank you. Anybody else who has an update or all questions, comments?
I'm quite done.
Oh my God.
Guys, George's
Spellcore.
George's turn to speak.
Did we ever get an action item for the land acknowledgement?
That would be so that'll be this,
What?
well, sorry, it'll be with that work item. So if we want to talk about,
That Maria and I are working?
yeah,
And then we're gonna plug.
We'll have a
what
Zoom,
Lauren
yeah.
just asked us, the three of us talk.
yeah,
Is that what
yeah,
I-
yeah, totally, because then it'll be, we'll be like a formal meeting, we'll talk about what we can do with it. I think from the follow-up from that presentation is the land acknowledgement is like, we're past that as a city, but like, what are we gonna do? What are some like action items that we can actually work on, like as a commission, as a staff, right?
Yeah, and because it's in the last line where it says that it's our responsibility to do that.
Totally. Okay, yes, thank you. Cool.
Anybody else? Okay. Council mandated racial equity training.
Yes,
That's you.
just a reminder, you all received an email, and I think quite a few of you have taken this training already. It will be, there's a refresher for new mission members, that'll be in April. So if you're interested in taking it again, it's an excellent course. If you're interested in taking it again, you can sign up just to join the new commissioners, or we can actually book another time if you're interested.
And then, on the point of recorded workshops, Deb Malden's workshop was recorded,
Yes.
and that's on the website for the Vimeo for
Yes.
the city, if you wanted to do a refresher.
I had another event that evening. Who was there and how it go?
Brent, Deb is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Sarah, grant reports.
Couple grant agenda items today. The first is the project change request, which was initially mislabeled, I apologize, as a report approval. So this is from Dairy Art Center and Creative Nations. Initially, the project was for workshops planned to focus on skill sets at the heart of many Native nations, and they still did that. However, they were needing to cancel a gallery event that would happen after that, due to your staff, changes. And so they shifted the timeline, and in the same sacred space, they're going to hold additional workshops,
So they're asking for an extension,
essentially.
correct?
And it was because the managing director left in the fall, but they were not able to.
That, and they, had availability, changes with the artist that was going to take place, or participants.
I'll move to approve. The
I
extension.
second that.
Any discussion?
Just. It's disappointing. So I wonder what type of support they need to keep the managing director in there, because the first page of Creative Nations says that it's all Indigenous led. If they can't keep someone in that managing position, then it's not all Indigenous led. And that's like what they move forward with in applying for the grant, that it is for this organization.
Is there anything, any information to share about why they left or?
No, I haven't. Do you know? Sorry.
Is there any way, but sorry, I don't know if I recall the details. The way I remember it was I thought they were still like all. I thought they specifically, but I don't remember, so I don't know if there's any way to pull that out.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah, there's no change.
Do you wanna pull it up and look at it together, Georgia, or which part? The way I read it was that the managing director, I'm sorry, I don't remember the title, the director was leaving, so it was still going to be all Indigenous. That's what my recollection of the grant was.
Yeah.
I've got it up.
Fill that position, or is it
They-
currently on?
It's currently unfilled, and the
Okay.
other folks that are part of the program are continuing work.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up. It says, continuing to be organized and facilitated and continued guidance in another place. Mary Amber Martinez.
And this person is Indigenous, I know that.
Yeah, she's one of the grantees. She was awarded as grantee for a urban making workshop last year.
Hear us now, see us now.
Yeah, thank you.
Any discussion? Before vote. All in favor? Unanimous? Great, thank you.
Okay.
Well, there
Want
we
me
go.
to read that?
Do we need to do that?
We started with somebody
I think
making a motion, that was essentially,
I
yeah.
move that we approve the Creative Nations Youth Cultural Arts Workshops project change.
I second that again.
All in favor?
I second my second.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you all. All right, we received, I believe 40 general operating support grant reports. As a reminder, if you submitted this report, you would receive an additional year's funding as we work on the Boulder Arts Blueprint. Oh, and one of those organizations was Museum of Boulder that requested that the way tiers be determined is based off of expenses instead of revenue. And this would set a precedent allowing organizations to request tier changes, the way that tier changes are determined.
And just in, do you have more to add to that? Or, my understanding, just to sort of frame it a little bit for everybody, is that they asked for inclusion in a higher, by Georgia, in a higher bracket because their expenses have reached that level. And then the tension in that request, as I read it, is with the way that we define the levels is based on revenue, not expenses. So that's kind of the issue, and whether or not we want to allow them to bump up.
They are very near the next tier for revenue. And they've gone through a lot of changes. They had an interim executive director last year. They brought in a new executive director. We then brought in a new development director. So we've gone through a lot of changes there. Am I correct that the tier changes them from a $20,000 GOS to a $50,000 GOS?
22 to 55.
22 to 55. My initial thoughts are, do we have other organizations, we set a dangerous precedent of bumping people into tiers that they're very close to? Do we have other people that are near that? That's the first question. And the second question is, does moving them from one tier to the other, does that $30,000 difference, does that take something away from someone else? Or does it leave someone else who wasn't eligible for GOS support last time? Those are my questions out into the ether.
I had a question also out to the ether, to use your parlance. As I was reading it, and I noted that there was an operating loss that, of course, additional funding would help to cover. And as I thought about it, I wondered if that was kind of bootstrapping the issue altogether. It feels backward in some way to me to think about, well, we've got so many expenses, we need more money, and that's gonna fix our shortfall.
Point of clarification.
Yeah.
Were the questions you posed, Jeffrey, rhetorical, or did you actually want answers?
If we have answers to them, I would enjoy answers to both of those.
Sure, so we did have two organizations request tier changes that were not included. Or kind of denied because they were close but did not meet the threshold, so the answer to that is yes. We can-
Okay, so why was this one included,
Because they're hoping to change their eligibility.
but the others were not, didn't pursue it?
No.
Okay. So there were two others that were also near but didn't ask.
Additionally, if there are no changes to the eligibility by which tier changes are determined, we are still going to spend $66,000 more on renewals than we had budgeted because of the good news that organizations are doing well. However, that does take away from the new applications that we have received.
Okay. There is our answer. Did I see oh, I see a raising of a hand.
Yeah, that'd be too little too late, but my initial thoughts on it is that if an organization chooses to spend more than what it's bringing in revenue, I feel like it's its responsibility to bring that in through private donations, rather than trying to argue for additional, necessary city funds that could go to other organizations that are choosing to make different decisions around how they're spending their budgets.
Yeah, I would really value your, as well as you're about to say something too.
Well, would it not change our entire like system and structure if we had, like, if every organization that decided to do it by expense as opposed to revenue, like that would?
We'd all be spending more money.
Yeah,
Exactly, yeah,
almost encourage some deficits.
yeah.
I feel for them because of the tough road that they had, and I feel like they've got the leadership now that can take them to the next level. It's just they had a rough time last year.
And it's only gonna be 1 year, this is not a
Correct.
3-year
Oh, yeah,
decision,
exactly,
so
exactly.
it's a short time frame, if we say no today that they.
Right, exactly.
I agree with, like, yeah, they did.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I would agree with you, but I wanted to hear everyone's thoughts on it. And it helps that our language is specific to revenue.
Yes.
I do not believe there's an official action needed at this time.
That's good.
Thank you for your insight as well and giving me the information I was looking for,
Yes, that's not.
not.
All right, so, good news is that we have a 10% increase in award amounts for all applications, whether they're changing tiers or not. And these organizations are increasing in tier.
So every single one of these has gone up, there's none that have gone down on this particular. Okay.
Great.
Yeah, they're done. Good staff.
Groundworks is extra large. Wow.
Long thing.
Right.
Hard parts.
Sorry.
Hey, Megan.
Were there any other questions about this slide? Okay. So now we have the recertification of the general operating support grantees that originally applied in 2022 or 2023. Again, they would receive an additional year of funding. You can either approve all reports, approve individual reports, approve individual reports while submitting specific questions, and postpone approval of individual reports pending the answers to specific questions. Then, of course, you could not approve any of the reports. These are the ones that have submitted reports, and I was going to turn it over to Caroline if there's further discussion about it.
Great. So what I'd like to propose that we do is anybody who would like to either recuse themselves for one or more organizations, or have a specific conversation about an organization. Let's find them on the list and pull them out for separate discussion and vote. And then we'll be left with a large group that we can approve of.
I'm running through this as fast as I can. None of us are receiving compensation from any of these organizations, am I correct? Where is,
Junkyard Social Club is on there.
where
So,
is that?
there we go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I can go in the other room in my house.
We want to pull it out for a separate slide anyway.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah,
just so it's clear.
Mhm.
And,
if she
I,
goes away, do we still have a quorum?
want to, yes.
Four,
we-
okay, I'm just.
And I had two that I had questions about, but I don't know if they're.
Yeah, if you'd like to have discussion about two with questions, we should pull them out and talk about them separately. Can you let Sarah know which two those are?
Boulder Samba School. And East Window.
East window. and Samba. That is one there.
I'll find it as well.
There it is. Okay, I'd like to discuss local theater. Cheryl, come on. So small.
They're third line from the bottom, if you're trying to find them. in the larger-
Thank you.
Middle, third line, bottom, there you go.
Anybody else have something that you wanna? pull out? So we can start with, a motion for the long list, once Sarah's able to get there. There we go. Let's make a motion.
Because if no one wants to read it, I think I'll move. Okay. I'll move that we approve the following reports for the 2022 to 25 GOS grants. Third Law Dance Theater, Arts Parks Creative Reuse Center, Band of House, Boulder Ballet, Boulder Chorale, Boulder Ensemble Theater Company, Boulder International Film Festival, Boulder Metalsmithing Association, Boulder Muse, Boulder Museum of Contemporary Art, Boulder Opera, Boulder Philharmonic, Cannibal Singers, Colorado Chautauqua Association, Colorado Muller Fest, Colorado Music Festival and Center for Musical Arts, Colorado Shakespeare Festival, Creativity Alive, Dairy Center for Arts, Eco, Arts Connection, E-Town, Frequent Flyer Productions, Greater Boulder Youth Orchestra, Groundworks Art Lab, KGNU, Lemon Sponge Cake, Contemporary Ballet, Modus Theater, Museum of Boulder, Noel Arts District, Parlando School of Arts, Sansui, sorry, I said that wrong, Festival of Dance Cinema, Streetwise Arts, T2 Dance Company, Catamounts, the Spark Performing Arts.
I second that.
Excellent. Any discussion on these? And we typically have just general comments, we can hold those to the end, but discussion about whether or not to approve these.
One report that I just loved, I thought the Boulder Phil did just a fantastic report. I loved how it was organized. How it sort of aligned with the, Boulder community priorities. I just thought it was really easy to read and very thoughtful.
Agreed.
Seeing no discussion, we'll move to a vote. All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. And if anybody has any additional comments, just in the general flavor of the reports and what we're seeing coming back from the community, can take those now.
It was great to learn more about organizations I wasn't familiar with. There was about 2 or 3 in there, like, I have no idea who these people are, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool.
I was really encouraged, just a lot of great programs. Fewer and fewer references back to COVID, which was super
Yeah.
encouraging. Super encouraging. And really also heartened by the working capital that most of the organizations had. Like, people seem to be in, not as dire a spot. Obviously, so that was really great.
Great.
All right. Let's move on. Jill, if you can recuse yourself. We'll talk about.
Yeah, should I, can somebody text me when I can come back? I could shut off the video to make it clear that I'm gone. Or no, that would just be the camera. But I don't know, I just don't want to make sure they don't come back too fast. So
Okay,
someone text me.
Right, I think it's okay just to mute both video and audio.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
you can just mute the video and audio.
And then when we're ready for you, Elaine and I will do interpretive dance.
Yeah.
We practice.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah. We'll leave the vote first.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone want to make a motion with that
I move that
language?
we approve the following report for the 2022-2025 GOS grant for Junkyard Social Club.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous? Get her back in the room.
We're working? Is it working?
She turned her camera off.
Here's somebody.
She ran down the hall.
We tried.
Maybe text her.
I will text her.
Oh, God. I am not doing an encore.
That caused.
Boulders. Okay.
Okay, hold on, I'm texting.
I'm trying to find what part
I appreciate
Boulder saw now. Do you know which part of the reports that was the Boulder Sawmill was in?
For grant. Oh, goodness. I can pull up the,
Or wait,
individual report.
it's, I think they were pretty much alphabetical. Yeah, it's in part 1 on the top of this.
Did we find Jim?
Oh, near the bottom.
I texted her and sent her the video.
You did not.
Everyone has black materials.
We need to wait for somebody to come back because our forum just went down.
That's true.
5-minute break.
I knew we were gonna get there eventually. I'm like, take one down.
Yeah.
If she's driving, I don't wanna.
Where is she? I thought she was on the way here.
That's what I thought too, but.
Okay.
I don't know. Just keep driving from the airport. Maybe.
Oh. We'll be done by the time she gets here, possibly.
I know.
Is there anything?
So, second, can I continue to play the way?
Yes, please.
According to Boulder Revised Code, chapter 14-1. We need a majority of those present for one of the new commissions. So you don't need a quorum, you need a quorum to start the meeting,
Oh, to start.
but to pass a motion, we need a majority of those.
Beautiful.
Nice recall.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, honorable council. All right, Boulder Samba School, maybe we should hear what the discussion requested is before the motion.
My notes say, and this could be wrong, but, it looked like there was an error on their financial sheet. The months of working capital is listed as $10.15 rather than in.
I assumed it was in months, I assumed there was a dollar sign was, but we should ask.
I thought it was
Yes.
10.15.
Yeah.
1.82, yeah, there is a dollar
Dollar
sign,
sign,
but I
yeah.
assumed that
Does
was.
that mean they have $10 of working capital or in months?
10 months,
of working
yeah.
capital?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a
Come back.
I don't know, error or I didn't go back to see if there was other.
Are you proposing that we hold off on voting on this, or you want to vote and get? an
It's a
answer to the
question for all of you. I didn't study the whole financial sheet. Like I said, if it was
Well,
just a incorrect dollar sign.
the working capital is 38,000, the current assets are 39, about 1,600, and current liabilities,
10.15.
So it's just a,
yeah.
okay, I'm fine then.
Yeah, they have $3,500 in monthly expenses and $38,000 in assets.
And the difference of that comes to 10.15.
Yep. Yeah. All right, so if that answers the discussion, if anybody would like to make a motion, please.
I move that we approve the following report for the 2022-2025 GOS grant, and that's specifically for Boulder Samba School.
All in favor? Lost
That's-
Jill,
that's
she's
on that, though.
nowhere to be found. Very clever. All right.
Oh.
Unanimous. Jill also
Thank you.
voted-
Hear me? Can you hear
Yes.
me? It's telling me that I'm unable to start my video, so I don't know if that's the host needs to.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Give you permission.
You should be able to now.
You should be a panelist, Jen.
Okay, I'm back. I panicked around the idea of muting video, like muting audio made sense. to me. Muting video. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna shut my computer. So I'm back. Thanks.
Okay, give me a moment, I'm gonna see if I can locate the next
East window,
reports for East Window. Probably.
Next year I'll make a table of contents.
It's,
Well, it's easy enough to define option.
yeah,
She's all organized and brings her laptop too.
Yeah, it's fancy.
I really spent the entire day in front of mine on video, and I'm like, can't bring it.
you beat me to it. No,
For sure.
After staring at that.
it's in. Oh. No, okay, it's in part.
It's in part one.
Oh, interesting, okay.
So I think it's like the fourth one. Yeah.
I'm just trying to pull up the search bar. Okay. All right, let's talk about what you wanted to discuss there.
There was, a note on the financials, about. Yeah, I want to just talk about it with all of you, because I don't want that fully understand it. But it sounded like the flow of personal income through the. She flipped through the, financials. And I don't know if I fully understood that, and so I just wanted to talk about it.
I have noted that also.
Is it a fiscal sponsor?
They said that, the, how was it? It was that it wasn't, that there was some money that wasn't showing up on the balance sheet, but it was showing up on the profit and loss or vice versa, because the owner had been putting money into the organization, but he had stopped that and was beginning to work with the sponsor, so that everything was gonna come through.
Okay.
Okay, that makes, yeah, okay, that
Way
makes
more
sense.
sense than I feel like how it was Right, I wrote down like contributions made by the owner on others' behalf, question mark, I was like, I don't know what that
Yeah.
means.
Here, I can read exactly what he
Okay.
said. Our financials show a significant deficit because I, as the owner of the business, have been making contributions which appear on the balance sheet but not the profit and loss. Some of these contributions are personal, but many came from my community directly to me. Starting in, which is a weird way
Right, yeah.
do that,
Well,
so,
yeah,
but
yeah.
then the
Okay.
fix is, starting in 2025, these contributions are gonna go through the fiscal sponsor. Which is a completely legitimate way to
Yes.
get money.
Sounds like a
for an
CPA got a
organization.
hold. of it.
Yeah,
Don't
and
do
they will
this.
appear on the
Yes.
profit and loss.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's what I understood that too, yeah.
So is there anything, I think I still have the same question, is there anything that we should be concerned about? Well, I mean, I appreciate the transparency, but. Are there any
Yeah,
questions?
if they're solvent, I don't have any concerns specifically.
Yeah, that would be my concern. They have 1 month of capital, working capital. They operated at a loss, 40,000. Their the total assets, 1,500. They've got 1,200 of that on credit cards, so there's not a lot of cash assets.
One, I don't have a problem for the size organization that they are. I mean, it's also a weird retail scenario right now.
Yeah, we'd definitely be interested in just some follow-up to that change in the next year.
Unless we want to ask for some clarification for what their plan is for the following year now.
I think we should, I mean, if we decide, I suppose there's two routes, or we could approve this one classification, or we could hold off approving pending clarification, right?
Yeah.
Assuming
Are we able to vote via email once we get it? Okay, we'll probably wait till the next meeting. Right, okay.
You can approve with submitting the question.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You may approve with submitting the question.
We can approve and then ask the question.
What if we don't like the answer?
Right. That's.
Hence the next
Exactly.
option.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the point to me is well made that one of our responsibilities is to make sure that the organizations are viable. So you're.
And they've got a pattern of the owner supporting the organization. So. And do that for the following year. As a stipulation of receiving the grant.
The other thing that I will note, I pulled out that there is a deficit, but they do explain that, they say that the contributions on the balance sheet, not the profit. So that may actually, like, maybe the question is based on the last year, how the contributions that are not on the profit and loss would impact that bottom line and the deficit. Capture that.
So would the contributions not on the P and L affect the deficit?
The contributions made by the owner. Yeah, I guess any of the contributions.
Do you feel comfortable approving in the meantime, or do you rather hold up?
I was originally, and then. When
And then her, yeah,
Carolyn's comment that, a fiduciary responsibility, so I think we should hold off. And if we can approve via email, so they can get this back.
we can't approve these, and then we have to wait
Oh,
until the next meeting.
Jill, I see
Can-
your.
Yeah. I'm having a hard time pulling up that specific report, but can somebody give me like a rough percentage of what this contribution is in relation to their overall operating budget?
I don't know if we have it,
Okay.
because it doesn't show up on the profit and loss.
I guess
So-
that's my question, is that there's I think it's 60% that in order to maintain good standing as a nonprofit that a ED cannot contribute past. So I have curiosity around like what they're reporting and how they're reporting it in relation to, yeah, what a nonprofit, what's going to help maintain their nonprofit status and if there's any issue there.
Do you want to say that? Go ahead.
So, they are not a nonprofit at this point. That was part of that original statement, which you might have missed, that he's moving to have a fiscal sponsor, which would give him the nonprofit status. Yeah, but I mean, there's a reason that rule exists, if that's helpful for all of you to consider it.
That would be one I can't find, 'cause I know you.
Yeah. All right, everybody happy with that question that Sarah's gonna ask, and we'll,
Did you also want me to ask about the percentage contribution?
Yeah.
so we're gonna hold off voting on that till the next meeting. Great. All right, then I need to find the local feeder.
There will be at least one other report that they submitted just after the deadline for materials for this meeting next.
Okay.
$197.
How much? Okay, so what I had noticed is what I had noticed was on their overview sheet, I believe, and I'm just verifying, they had 0 months of working capital and had on their, and they operated at an $87,000 loss. So that was concerning. And as I looked on their expenses, trying to figure out, well, why was it such a big loss? And it could be, you know, ticket revenue on one side. Then I also noticed that there were on their liabilities. Well, those are liabilities, that's not actually the expenses. So I'll forego that observation, but I just I'm concerned. And would like to know what their plan is for the next year. If it has such a large deficit, I don't know.
Yeah, I've got a couple guests that may be David from St. Frank Valley for the writing workshop that they're doing and those type of things right now, so that could be that, so I think it's worth asking.
And they're liaison.
I'm not their liaison. I love what they're doing, they're in the middle of a sold out run again, right now, but yeah.
I think it's worth asking the question.
All right. Any clarification on the question, Sarah?
Just their plan to deal with the deficit over the next year.
Great. Anything else on reports? Let's move up.
So to clarify that, it's postponing this. Next.
Yes.
So both of those, yeah, both of those will wait the vote depending on the answers. Yeah.
Really excited about this. I have had an interview with the Daily
Oh, this
Camera about
is
this.
JCC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I had an interview with Daily Camera. There's a lot of interest in this event. This is a traveling Smithsonian exhibition, and only 3 locations in Colorado were asked to show it. And I went through it recently, and it's really amazing. It's very self-reflective. There's interactive bits. It's just really interesting. And so the Cultural Organization Summit will be people going through this exhibit at their own pace. Initially, there's going to be a tour, but after going through it, I realized that would kind of ruin the point of the self-reflection of this exhibit. So glad I went in advance. Anyway, people will be filtering in and out of that, and then we'll have a facilitated conversation with Betty Hart of the New Local afterward. And she has asked folks to fill out the, blanking on the name, but it's a Harvard affiliation test about age and ability before they come, so they have homework before coming to the discussion. And then as a little preview, because this commission asked that we focus on STEAM this year a bit more, I have confirmed that our May 22nd summit will be on a STEAM topic on equity, ecology, and education. And I think there's a lot of federal funding changing requirements in that field as well, so for the discussion.
What the subject matter will be in?
So within an arts framework, it'll be equity, ecology, and education. Yeah. So circling back to the discussion that was held at the beginning of this meeting, perhaps I can tack on a discussion about changing federal requirements onto that, because it's very relevant to both of those fields.
And then I also remember seeing something from Lauren, I think from March 7th with the council.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the blueprint, which I'll think about.
Okay. All right.
And then my final slide, I just wanted to note that we have received $374,000 in requests for new general operating support. We have 25 applications, so it's quite a bit. And again, that's organizations that were not previously funded. So yes, and like I said, it's wonderful that we have organizations growing and that we have new organizations applying to us, but that does mean that we had to shift around the grants that we anticipate being able to award. I tried to maintain a somewhat similar level in terms of the percentage chance of receiving a grant for each tier, but you can see in the 3rd column on the top graph, the numbers in parentheses are what we anticipated or estimated being able to award versus on the left.
Right.
Yeah.
So just a little adjustment.
The difference being, about $68,000. If there's any questions about this.
How many applicants total did we have in the last round?
42.
We had 41.
Oh, applications. sorry.
Yeah, applications.
Oh,
It was about a 75% to 80% award rate, so. Whatever.
For GO specifically.
For general operating, yeah, so 50s,
So
55 maybe.
we're at like, assuming everybody applies, or the numbers remain about the same for next year, it's like that
Would be it.
60 something.
Right, 70.
or
19 to 25,
it would be more like the 40 plus the 14.
75%, yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at applicants, the 40 that already have funding, I would assume they're gonna apply again.
Right.
Plus, if we maintain the same level of applicants.
And 75% of those new applicants will receive.
Oh, I see.
The new applicants on the top, the breakdown is less this time, so it's about 60%, 60%, 50%, and then 100%.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about the total number, the total percentage of applicants to grantees.
Uh-huh.
Is there any,
It's a time.
if, how to say this, but the extra large, since there's only one, and we're giving one grant, if the panel determines that that's not worthy of a grant, those funds will trickle down, right? So the panel, I guess, would be given that direction.
Certainly depends on how they ask for it.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
But we
Oh,
don't
okay.
have that baseline rule anymore, that we have to get above a certain score.
Not as a
So-
couple of years ago.
We would have to
The
be,
threshold score.
yeah, threshold
Right.
score. So it would have to be something, I would think, that is like brought up to them as an option.
Yeah, it's something we can discuss with them. especially after their first round of scores.
I think they have to essentially not recommend it to you all.
Right.
I think they should be told that as they're,
Mhm.
that it's not a guaranteed grant award. Where the applicant has to earn his life. I have no idea who it is, so it's.
Yeah,
I do.
I know.
That's all I have.
Okay, great.
Thank you. So I don't have anything to show. I just wanted to give a quick update on the blueprint and experiments of art. So blueprint, the cats are back, our consultants are back next week. They'll be holding more focus groups. They'll be attending the cultural organization summit, meeting with the advisory committee, seeing some venues. Going to No-Go First Fridays and also attending, some of them will be attending a chat with council next Friday. There are still spots open for that, so if you're interested, it's like a casual conversation with council. There'll be 4 council members there, we'll be taking notes and things, but it's a way for them to like get out and really talk to people. They feel like they get a lot of public participation, but to like have some more real conversations, right? So it's like a contained, we'll be taking notes, right, because there's 4 of them there. But it's specifically about arts and culture. I encourage you, if you want to sign up and if you want to attend and talk to city council members, it's a really good chance to. And then it's right before First Friday, so it'll be fun.
Where do we sign up?
It is on the internet. I will send you a link to that.
Okay, thank you.
on the internet.
Yes, I'll send you a link. Yeah, okay. Send it out to everybody. The blueprint thus far, as I mentioned, the big thing that we need your input and your help with is the questionnaire right now. And if you hear of anybody that's asking about it or having questions, you can also send them to us. I feel like some of this like, you know, growing trust, or yeah, I think it's a really good brand for that. But the growing trust piece is just knowing that people can reach out to us, we'll answer them, like ask questions, we'll plug them in where they, you know, to focus groups or to talk with the consultants or to talk with us about what they really are hearing, what they need. We have done a ton of also tabling at different comp plan events, and we're very plugged in with the comp plan stuff. The comp plan to a Boulder today, which is just like existing conditions, was posted. We have some arts and culture sections in there, which is very exciting. Some like very specific arts and culture sections. Questionnaires open. We actually decided to close it March 21st. I mean, we have like quite a few responses already, but just to continue to get some input, we'll take that input. We will, or not we, the experts that are the cats will take the input and devise a further version of that will be doing tables at Boulder Arts Week. So like, okay, here's a big theme that we saw. What are some like more specific things? Start to get into some of those details that we need, right? And then just another note and another thing that we would love some help with, experiments in public art. We had a Modus Theater series run with the comp plan, which was excellent and very helpful and very insightful. We had a graphic designer work with the comp plan. You'll see some of that stuff in their designs and their work. The piece now is that we have a call open as of yesterday for an artist or team of artists to work on the community assembly. So I don't know if any of you were invited to be part of the community assembly. This is a new project that they're introducing to the comprehensive plan. It's like 8 weekends where volunteers like Willy Wonka, they sent out golden envelopes to the community. There's no better way to describe it, right? They send out golden envelopes to the community for volunteers. Volunteers will come up and talk about 15-minute neighborhoods. And it's literally like a random group of people from the city of Boulder. And it gets everybody talking, certainly meeting different people and like focusing around this one topic. And we are going to install an artist to help translate that out as a piece of artwork. I mean, it could be music, it could be dance, it could be visual. It's completely open. It is open to Colorado artists, but it's a way for us to help like translate that process that is happening in a contained space, right? Some kind of interpretive dance. Yes,
Yeah.
I will
I'd
send
like
out,
to see that.
I'll send out the call to
Plus, I wasn't invited.
send out the call to all of you. And then finally, I just have to plug Boulder Arts Week. It wasn't on my list. It's coming up in April. If you know people that want to participate or that want to be business champions, that want to volunteer, they're gonna be helping with our blueprint stuff. Anybody that wants to list their events, it is rocking. It's gonna be really amazing this year. We have an awards program this year that we'll be letting you all know about very soon, but that's great. Yes. Any
Thank
other,
you, Lauren.
do you have any questions? Is there anything that you feel plugged in, ready to talk about it in the community? Later. She made it.
Oh,
We signed you up for so many things.
now we've got a quorum, we can start the meeting.
I can hear everything. I just, my mic,
How
I
you
couldn't unmute and it's a new car, so I'm not sad, but I need to understand how it works. Anyway, I am here. My apologies.
Thank you.
No worries, we're almost done.
I know, I did message, I was like, is it working? And it was like a sunken
There's
cost.
pizza.
Yes. The only thing I will say, which is like, as you're rolling as investors, we're building some talking points around like. That we're gonna get to city council for that chat with council, and I would like to send them to all of you too, just so you have like a nice. Run of talking points if you're out with the community. I mean, it's a ton to memorize, but like, just so you have some really good framing of things, if that. Okay, great. Thank you. It's great.
And with that, does anybody have questions?
My husband told me not to come home.
So, well,
I mean-
Cheryl, I can offer you this, at least so you can feel like you did participate. If there's anything on the general operating support grants that we approved, we usually have that time for just general feedback on the tone coming back from the community, if there's anything you'd like to add to that.
I loved it. It was such good reading.
Yeah.
I can't, of course, I can't even think of any in particular, but. I really got to know my liaisons. Anyway. But being able to get like the breadth of everybody, I really very much appreciated. Especially, I'm not new, but like I haven't gone through the GOS process. So I appreciate it.
And then, so in your absence, I gave a plug for your liaison for the Boulder International Film
Yes.
Festival.
Beautifully. And I finally did my board training for Downtown Visiting Bureau.
Oh, wonderful.
They've been somewhat preoccupied.
Is that Downtown Boulder Partnership or who was that?
The Visit Boulder,
Oh, Visit Boulder, okay.
Yeah.
The convention visit.
And then the one thing that you may have missed from the beginning of the meeting is that we had a little bit of homework on this question of federal executive orders and people who are getting federal grants versus initiatives in Boulder granting and potential conflict around DEI issues and the like. So we're all gonna check in with our liaison organizations, find out who's getting federal funding and report that back to Lauren for further action.
Sure, when I send my first email to my first liaison, I'll copy you on it, just so you can see the language I'm saying.
Sure.
Just so you don't have to go back and try to figure out what we were saying earlier.
I'm probably gonna steal it.
That's what it says, use it as a template.
Send it to all of us.
Okay.
We want a consistent message.
Right.
Yeah. All right, any questions on the managers? Adjourn the meeting, I'm sorry.
Just
It's
accept
really late.
I'm always late. I had to stay an extra hour at work.
Oh.
Yeah.
Exam, PA things, condition assistant.